Hey guys, Eric with East Texas Homestead, and man, it's always something on the homestead. Today, I'm trying to troubleshoot this Jeep Grand Cherokee behind me. I charged up the battery last night, disconnected the negative battery terminal, and I'm going to test the battery this morning to see if it's still holding the charge. I'm pretty sure the root of the problem is the fact that I've got a really bad battery. Now, it's only 2 years old, but for some reason, it is not holding a charge at all. And so I think just the slight draw that I've got coming from the doors, which I think I've narrowed down to the back glass hatch, is enough to kill the battery within a few hours of not using it. So we're gonna try that out, and then get a couple more quick things around the homestead taken care of, and then go into town, go to the farmer's market, and do a few other errands while we're in town. So I'm gonna take you along for part of that. All right, so last night after charging the battery, my multimeter here was reading 12.75, which is about what I expected. I am suspecting that it's going to be much lower, just through being a bad battery. Maybe I've got a bad cell or two. And let's go ahead and see where we're at. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so 10.63. That's definitely not good. So I'm going to disconnect this battery. I'm going to take it into town with us and go ahead and swap it out. Alright, battery's out. Hopefully this won't cost too much. I just replaced 2 of these in my truck right here. And they're AGMs, and that cost me about 375 bucks. Woo! Yeah, alright, I'm hoping this one will be 100 or so. Could those bugs be any louder? Anyway, the next thing on the list before we go in town, y'all see all these scrapes going down the side of my truck? Yeah, I'm hoping that's something I can buff out. In the end, this is really just an old work truck, and I'm not that worried about it. But those are caused by me just not maintaining the driveway, and we've got these mimosas that are hanging over, and I've talked about cutting them a couple times, and I just have not had the time to do it. You know, batteries and stuff keep dying, and yeah, whatever. So let's go ahead and take care of that right now. That's what we're looking for right there. You can see we got all these guys hanging over. And they definitely do a number on vehicles as they go by. You go slow, it's not a big deal, but when you're cruising through, yeah, it gets a little rough. We actually planted these mimosas right after putting in the road. I went just down the street, and I found a tree that had a ton of pods on it. And I actually just, my brother-in-law Josh and I, we just went through and took a spade and just like stuffed it in the ground, and just stuck whole pods down in holes. The idea was basically just to get something growing on this, because 3 years ago this was nothing but red clay from this tree all the way over about 20 feet that way. Now it's a jungle. And my concept behind the mimosas here was pretty simple. I wanted something that would hold the side of this together. You can see down here, look at the size of that. That thing right there is bigger around than my forearm. And you know it's got pretty good sized roots going down into the ground. And that's our creek bed down there. And I needed something that would hold these steep sides together and keep them from falling apart. You know, the best thing that you can put on steep slopes is trees. That's going to create stability in your soil. What I was hoping is that most of them would be like this one right here and lean up and go out that way. But most of them like to come in. So I'm going to go ahead and chop some of these guys back. Since these grow so great, I can constantly come back here and just, what we call in permaculture, chop and drop. I'm going to cut them and then put them straight down to the ground. And that's going to build soil and fertility all along the drive, so that eventually I can come back in here and put in something that's productive, whether that be a fruit tree, or you can see over here I've actually got all of these are blackberry bushes that are all volunteer. They've come up. They don't taste that great and they're not doing so hot, but as I build fertility, that'll get better and better every year. So that's the concept behind the mimosas. Unfortunately, they tear up your vehicles as you drive by, and I need to take care of that right now. I keep saying right now. I'm gonna do it. Another thing I really love about the mimosas is that it creates a really great dappled shade. And you know, you've got these leaves that let through probably 50% of the light, but block the rest. And here in Texas, golly, our sun is so hot. Well, it's the same sun, but it's so hot in the summers. It just bakes things. And so having this shade actually gives our plants a leg up on life. When we chop and drop like this, essentially what we're doing is speeding up nature's natural progression. You know, we in permaculture, going back to that again, we look at nature all around us and we want to mimic what nature does, but utilize its processes to the best of our ability and maximize the outcome. So look back here, we've got big old trees that have fallen down, branches that have fallen down, leaves that have fallen down. They fall to the floor, and what do? They rot, and they turn into soil. That's the big problem with our modern agriculture system, is that we export more soil than we do anything else in the entire country. And we're not building soil, we are depleting our soils. So this right here is a step in the right direction. It's just a pile of leaves, pile of branches, but it's all going to break down and it's going to turn into something that's beneficial. And we're just speeding that process up. So the natural tendency for us in the first world is to take all this stuff that we've chopped down and to either burn it off or bundle it up if you live in the city and stick it out on the curb and haul it off to the landfill. Keep it on your property. It's beneficial. One more thing I wanted to mention. I'm technically doing this at the wrong time of year. In permaculture, they teach that Bill Mollison, founder of permaculture, he taught that, hold on, my kids are calling me. What's up, buddy? I don't know what that was about. As I was saying, Bill Mollison taught, the late Bill Mollison, taught that you want to chop and drop when the rainfall exceeds evaporation. Although we're in a pretty humid time right now, this really isn't the best time because things get dry really fast here in East Texas, right here in the middle of July. The ideal time to chop and drop for us is going to be going into fall. However, if I wait till fall to cut these guys back, you won't be able to get through here. So while it's not a technical proper time to chop and drop, it's the practical time to chop and drop. Essentially what's going to happen is the stuff that I'm dropping to the ground will not decompose as fast as they would when the rainfall exceeds evaporation later this fall. They might oxidize a little bit before doing so and not get the best optimal fertility out of it. I'm not looking for optimal, I'm looking for passability. Passability a word? This is exactly what I'm talking about when I say you don't want to remove all of the waste, because you're trying to mimic that natural system. Excuse me while I get back in here. You see, I've been chopping and dropping for a while now. Here's an entire branch that fell out of a tree. Instead of hauling it off, I just threw it in here. Look what we've got right here. Got what I'm guessing is really interesting. It looks like almost like an albino turkey tail. But anyway, it's the fungus is doing its job and eating this tree. You know what I teach my kids, and you can ask Buddy, you know, what fungus does, what it is, and he'll tell you it's the teeth of the forest. And you need to have a damp environment. You need to have shade to some extent. You need to have the material for it to actually chew on. But you have all that stuff and you're gonna get decay, and that log right there will be some beautiful soil probably next year. So I'm gonna continue to just chop and drop right on top of it. All right, there we go. I could spend a lot more time out here making this a lot prettier, but ain't nobody got time for that. So for now, that's as good as it's gonna get. You can drive through. Those branches right there look pretty low, but that's probably 15 feet up. So plenty of clearance for not only my truck, but my cousin's bus. So much to do every day. But God's given us another day, so we are gonna make the most of it. All right, next on the list, take out compost. We got a lot of waste. Unfortunately, this past week or so, we did not do a great job of eating all of our fruits and vegetables before they went bad. You know, we ate most of them, but not all of them. Gummit. Looks like the pigs or something got into my compost again. So I'm gonna have to fence this stuff off because it's tough. It's really tough to keep a compost pile going when you have either wild or domestic animals eating it up. All right. The one nice thing is they actually turn it for me. My pitchfork died. I need to rebuild it. But until then, I'm using a shovel. So, if anybody's got an extra pitchfork they want to just send me, I'll take it. All right, I'll show you one thing we do with our compost. We use these coffee cans. Probably shouldn't be showing Folgers label. We use these coffee cans, and you know, you can see we put all sorts of stuff in here. A lot of coffee, but you can see that last part that came out was shredded bills and junk mail. So in order for me to get my nitrogen carbon ratio pretty close, which I'm not a fanatic about, I end up putting, I'll show you, hold on. I fill up the bottom half with shredded bills and paper, and then we fill up the top. Well, this one didn't get any bills and paper. Yeah, a little bit. Fill up the top with our food scraps, and that gives me a pretty good little ratio. Well, oftentimes I get a little heavy on some watermelon rinds. Often I get a little heavy on the nitrogen, so I'll end up putting extra paper in here. What I'm doing right now is trying to fish out. I don't necessarily want more of this paper, but I threw a bunch of mushrooms that got moldy on us into this, and I don't want them to stay in there. Yeah, you can see we basically get all that, and then I'll just fill each one of these up, stick them under the kitchen counter, and then once they're full, bring them out here, dump them in the pile, mix them in, and it's good to go. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and leave this bag up here. I got plenty back in the house. I'll pull from that as needed. I'm gonna go ahead and take these cans back though and rinse them out real good so they don't stink too bad. And then we'll move on to what's next. I will say, having that carbon in with the food scraps actually really cuts down on the stink. You wouldn't believe how bad, actually most of y'all know how bad just rotting food smells. But if you're getting these cans kind of full, and let me rearrange myself. If you're getting these bags or these cans full, and they're really starting to stink, but they're not all the way full, you don't want to take them out yet, throw a little more of the paper on top. Cuts that smell out right away. Pretty cool. It's almost like God made it to work that way. All right, here we go. Rinse these bad boys out. No reason to waste the water, might as well go right into the garden. Not like a little bit of rotten food juice is gonna hurt. Boy, that lavender sure smells good. All right, well, it's 1:30 in the afternoon. We went to the farmer's market, went to Walmart, went to Sam's, got a new battery, and guys, got some really good deals at the farmer's market. Oh yeah, that's an awkward angle. So you can see we've got a Duracell, and that's because Sam's no longer sells the Energizer batteries. And from what I understand, the chemistry in the Duracell is actually quite a bit superior to the Energizer. So I'm excited about that. Now here's the most exciting part. I took it in, and it had a 3-year warranty on it, and it's only been 2 years since I purchased it. And I didn't have the receipt. I looked all over the place. I really try to keep up with those things, but I didn't have it. And I went in with my Sam's card, and I went over to customer service. They looked it up, and they found all the batteries that I'd purchased in the past, and they brought it over, and it was $149. And I'm thinking, okay, so 2 years. It's been 2 years, and they've got a 3-year warranty, so they're probably going to prorate it and give me, $40 or $50 off or whatever, something like that, a third off. No, it was actually a free replacement. So I got this $149 battery for free because it died prematurely. I've never had one go out that early, and so I've never actually utilized a warranty on one. So that was really cool. All right, with any luck, let's start right up. So far, so good. Much better. Well, guys, that's all I'm going to film today. I've got a lot more going on. We're going to run back into town We're actually gonna work on another video, but that's it for this one. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for coming along. As always, there's gonna be a video right here and a video here. We've got one that's suggested for you and our most recent. In this case, if you're watching this the day it comes out, the most recent is gonna be this one. Again, you can watch it again if you want. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. When you do, click the bell notification icon. That way you'll actually get alerts on your mobile device or on your computer whenever we go live or whenever we post a video. So thanks, love you guys. We'll see you on the next video.